Crowley, and today I want to talk to you about something kind of fishy, GMOs. In a study about controversial science issues, the Pew Research Center found only 37% of the American public believed GMOs are safe to eat. And it's not so hard to see why, right? Mixing genes from different species looks pretty unpleasant. But here's something that might complicate your view just a little bit. 88% of scientists believe GMOs are safe to eat. That disparity between public and scientific opinion is greater than for any other science issue, including childhood vaccines, global warming, and evolution. So what even are these controversial GMO things? Well, it depends who you ask. Most scientists see the history of agriculture as a continuum of genetic modification, from highly imprecise techniques like crossbreeding plants to create new combinations, to new, more precise technologies that more closely resemble engineering. The popular definition of a GMO is actually only a small subset of techniques that scientists use to manipulate the plant genome. One of these techniques was used to create the fishy tomato these people are protesting. An antifreeze gene from a flounder that thrives in cold temperatures was isolated. Then a microbe that naturally inserts its DNA into plants was modified so that the antifreeze gene from the flounder became part of it, and it was also inserted into the plant genome. And then this was done in the hope that the tomato would be able to survive in colder temperatures. So when scientists talk to the skeptical public about these fishy tomatoes, they often communicate according to something called the deficit model, meaning they believe that opposition to GMOs comes from the fact that the public simply doesn't know enough about them. Did you know that the genetic code is nearly universal and that there's no real difference between a fish gene and a tomato gene? Does that tidbit seem unlikely to convince this protester to take off their costume and find a freeze-resistant tomato? That's because opposition to GMOs is not strictly rational. It's socially situated, like most of our beliefs. There's a fundamental lack of trust between the public and most sources of information about GMOs. The public trusts scientists as a general category, but they're highly skeptical of anyone that's affiliated with the biotechnology industry, which often implicates our federal regulatory agencies. In order to regain this trust, scientists within the federal government and industry need to be more accessible to the public. For example, these scientists could hold discussions with stakeholder groups such as consumer advocates and retailers and farmers, and these discussions could be videotaped and made available to the public. And in order to be prepared for these types of public interactions, scientists could learn or could have science communication education at the undergraduate and graduate level. So this fishy tomato actually was never a research success and didn't make it to supermarket shelves. But a future tomato that could survive in cold temperatures would mean less crop loss to freezes. Other GMOs improve crop nutrition or make plants resistant to drought and heat stress. Changing how scientists talk about GMOs won't be easy, but it is a necessary step to ensure we can feed the world as global populations grow and our climate continues to change. Thank you.